Now I'm pre-wetting the reflections in the shallow water they're wading in and bring a few notes of flesh. I don't feel it's completely necessary to match the colors and values of the wader's clothing in the reflections. I prefer to let them blend on the wet paper and adjust as I feel the need. Balancing the colors and values on the page is my focus. This time I'm starting the reflections on dry paper, so the reflection is a little more hard-edged. I'll be stopping to soften a few edges soon. As soon as I indicate the man's dark permanent magenta bathing suit, I repeat the mixture in the wet reflections and let it blend. Also notice I occasionally skip a space in the lower reflections. This will hint at a ripple or two in the water. We'll get into this more in the coming 2 demos, but I've always found that lifting out a few horizontal lights always helps the mostly vertical darks in the reflections. This is a form of contrast. Shapes that are darker are enhanced by lines that are lighter. Hey everybody, thanks for being with us. If you enjoyed the demo, give us a thumbs up and write a comment. And if this is the kind of content you're looking for in watercolor, please consider subscribing to our channel. It helps Martha and me out more than you know. Thanks again. See you soon. Notice I'm softening the edges of the reflection with a damp brush, clean water, and wet below the reflection shape, then up into it. Some of the reflection is left hard-edged and some is softened. I can't stress enough that I'm making these harder and softer, lighter and darker alterations to the reflections by watching what's happening as the painting develops. What works well in one instance may not work well in another. I'm moving the brush up to soften some of the hard edges. This darker pigment mixture of Joe's Blue and Burnt Sienna looks good, but demands too much attention. But I like it, so I'm counterbalancing until it appears to belong in the painting. As always, a few tickles and adjustments are made. It seems every time I paint reflections, there's a little different procedure. However, the reflections seem to work best for me if the reflections have contrast. Painted mostly vertical with a few notes of horizontal and some balance of harder and softer edges found along the way. You can't see it much, but I left the paper dry in the middle area of the reflections. I'm protecting some white paper there as a reflection of the snow on the half-dome mountain. Again, you don't have to be exact, but overall I'm repeating the color and values of the trees into the reflections. As before, when I'm creating a color change, especially complementary colors, I place the color next to, not into, the complement. Now I'm placing Joe's Blue, practically pure pigment, over the green reflection. Here, Joe's Blue is mixed with a touch of fuchsia for a dark violet and placed on the wet page. Again, my focus is on the negative shapes of light in the reflections. Using these strong darks on wet paper isn't as dangerous as you might think. At this wet into wet stage, they can easily be altered or washed off. I like to place a work mat on my paintings as I near completion. I love this Rex Brandt quote, "The painting is usually finished before you are." Now I dry the page. Okay, I'll bet you noticed I haven't addressed the sky. Here's why. Skies are most often support players in a painting. Certainly that's the case in this painting. The job of support characters is to show off the main character, which here are the lights on the mountain and reflections in the water. Rather than first painting the sky as I see it in a photograph, I give myself the liberty to adjust the value of the sky lighter or darker as needed by now watching the lights on the mountain and the water. First, I mix manganese and fuchsia for a light violet and then add just a touch of yellow to slightly neutralize the mixture.